All right, we're going to jump right on into this one today. Today is March 23rd. It is a Saturday. It's a little bit dreary, raining today here in Conway, South Carolina. And I wanted to give you sort of a taste of what it's like to be a hitting instructor and have a multitude of clients and different levels, and kind of what the daily life is for me here at Foul Pole to Foul Pole and Black Diamond Softball and Fitness. I do have a couple of daughters that play high school ball here. They play for Conway High School, and I know some of you guys in the local area have been sort of hitting me up about the sort of the drama that's been going on within the team. But I think now it's either the problem is either going to leave and kind of move on, like they did a couple years ago when they left one high school and went to a new high school. But nonetheless, it's life. You got to deal with it. And all you can do is hopefully raise your kids, even though some people don't raise theirs. Anyway, sort of the thing is with me in the daily life here is I'm always trying to learn something, whether it's new defensive drills, picking the brain of different mentors, trying to pick up and piggyback on what they're doing. The ones that inspire me are the ones that I learn from and I kind of teach from. My buddy Josh Cathcart down in Texas, he has Hitting Done Right. And man, if you haven't checked him out, please do so. I pick up a lot of different stuff from him, have good conversations with him. Just an all around genuine person. And he works with a lot of different ages, and he works a lot of baseball and a lot of softball. So he's kind of getting it from both sides. I don't do the baseball side. I'm strictly softball, whether it comes to hitting and defensive stuff. But pick up a lot of his stuff, and working with the young ones, and I do have some clients that are in that 8U age, and I look at it as it's a challenge because they don't really have that attention span, and they come in green, which I like that aspect of it. They come in young, never really held a bat or maybe just played around in the yard and stuff like that. So you have to really dial back the detail, and just 90% of it is fun, and about that other maybe 5% is really teaching them something, and that other 5% is getting them to learn why things happen. What muscle groups control this, why their body feels like that, and really just kind of showing them and giving them sort of that foundation. So you're really building a foundation in those first few years with those young ones. And with the older ones, the ones that are either in college or those high school juniors and seniors, we're really trying to define that swing pattern and trying to be able to make it so that they can duplicate that swing over and over and just be consistent so they can be adjustable. A lot of different pitches, a lot of different planes, a lot of different speeds and stuff like that. But the main thing is being able to duplicate something that is comfortable for them and something that is productive in the offensive game. So with me, it's, the daily grind of getting the podcast out. Of course, it's just straight editing, my own stuff, nothing fancy going on. I mean, it is raw. I don't really know what I'm doing as far as the editing stuff and that kind of stuff. I do try to put out as much content as I can. Coaching a Firecrackers team, during this time of the year, there is some downtime. I do try to get out and watch some of the girls. I try to get out and watch some of the athletes that hit with me. There's a lot that's been with me for a couple of years now. And there's some girls that has seen a lot of growth and maturity. And I work the mental side of it too, because I think that's more important than anything else. Because softball, just like baseball, man, it's hard. It's hard to hit a ball, and you get the kid from going from a lot of swings and misses to being able to put the ball in play, to being able to put the ball in play where they want to, and then that situational based hitting. Runner on second, and I'm looking for something on the outer half so I can drive behind the runner to try to move that runner around. Maybe looking for something in the gap there, something like that, instead of just going up there and having that mentality of I have to swing because it's a strike. And one of the harder things that I've had to sort of work through and teach younger hitters is the ability to take a strike, the ability to take a pitcher's pitch. not every pitch that's a strike is a good hitter's pitch. And I do a lot of drill-based stuff like that. We'll just do some scenario stuff. And, you don't have to have all the flashy tools. You don't have to have all the flashy gear and come up with these crazy drills and stuff like that. I try to stay within game-like movements. Now, we do some drills that, they do seem kind of silly when you're doing them, but what we're trying to do is to get you to feel something, or we're trying to get you to understand why we don't do things a certain way. And, you can go and look at Josh Cathcart's page with Hitting Done Right, man. There's a lot of trolls out there. I don't have that many because I'm not as big, or I don't have as big of reach as what Josh does, but there's still some trolls. And I don't like posting stuff online because I don't want the kid to get bashed, or I don't even know why she's, taking hitting lessons, or there's always going to be haters and stuff like that. So, if you post a clip, like a 10-second clip of something, somebody's going to bash you for doing that clip. Somebody's going to bash you for doing that drill. Why are you teaching them this? Why are you teaching them that? And a lot of times it's taken out of context. And so that's just, I don't want that kind of negativity and that kind of hate. There's a lot of girls that, their parents will either send me their clips and stuff like that, which is awesome for me. I'm on a lot of different Game Changers just so I can watch these athletes. I'm a family member for a bunch of them, but I'm able to sort of watch their in-game swings. And we know batting practice swings alone look different from in-game. Swings with a hitting coach are different from in-game. But what we're trying to do is sort of shorten that distance between in-game and practice reps. And the older they get, the more mature they get, and the more sort of muscle memory that they build, the better it is. But one thing that, I talk about with the athletes is even in the cage, and we say we mishit something, or we just have a poor swing or a poor attempt or whatever. Those swings are the ones that teach us the most. I mean, you can get into a groove and hit, 8 of 10 balls to the back fence or whatever, hit to the back net. And those are good. Those are confidence boosting and almost effortless, if you will. And, it helps. And there's positivity that comes with that. But I like to teach from that negative standpoint. I like to teach from that failure standpoint, because I want you to feel sort of when something doesn't go right, so that moment that it doesn't go right, you can backtrack just a little bit and sort of remember what your body was doing. Did I drop my hands? Did my front shoulder pull out and pull my head off? Did I get engaged with my hips? Did I go heel to heel with my swing? Because when we get loaded, we load up that backside. So we actually sort of twist, or we kind of coil, or whatever word you want to use. What we're doing is we're sort of spinning our body while keeping that back heel in place. So we're kind of loading up that way. And then as we get through our launch, as we transfer that power from that back heel into that front side, we get into that front side heel. And that's the only way to engage your hips. So if you're standing there or whatever, if you can think about it, or if you're driving a car, don't press the gas pedal too hard, but think about, you get loaded, you coil around that back leg. That back heel gets down. And then as you stride and you get into that launch and that front foot lands, you're going to land somewhere, maybe on the toe, maybe on the ball of that front foot. But as those hips kind of roll and engage and turn, give you that power, that's when we go to that front heel. So we talk a lot about heels and toes, trying to be athletic and sort of having that front side resistance. And then once the kid starts to feel like, I do have some power. I mean, you can see some really skinny string bean girls that you're like, man, they've got a lot of leverage, and it does take a lot of leverage to hit a softball, but you have to get them engaged enough to where they can feel their power. And, there's some bigger girls out there, some strong girls that could be strong in the weight room, but they don't know how to use that power when it comes to swinging a bat. So just trying to communicate that. And there's a lot of communication. And I've learned over the years that, you can sort of ask guided questions, but you want to get their response. You don't want to tell them what they should feel all the time. You do want to let them know that, hey, you should be feeling this. And if you don't feel this, try to feel this. And I get that. And I do use that approach a lot. but I attack it from a different angle of, tell me what are we getting into here? What are we feeling? Um, you know, yeah, can I know that you can feel that load or whatever, but do you feel like you're still powerful, or do you feel like you've gotten weak somewhere? And then we can kind of have that guided discussion. So I am getting a focused answer, not just a generic yeah or yes sir, or just an agreement. Because if they're just agreeing and they don't understand, they're not going to be able to take that information back home. And some of the myths about hitting instructors or swing coaches or whatever you want to call yourself, it's the work that you do with that coach. Now, that may be the only time of the week that you do get extra practice reps and you get your hitting and stuff. And that's okay. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other on that. But for me, my perspective on it is you're coming to me. We don't necessarily have to learn anything that you haven't already been taught. You may have forgotten it, or you may have just not known that you know it, but it's really just fine tuning it and getting those drills as close to perfection as we can, or getting these reps in, maybe getting to that point where we have some muscle fatigue and we're trying to reestablish or establish some muscle memory. And it allows you to kind of get home and your 30 minutes a day or every other day or whatever you're doing, a couple hundred balls a day or whatever it is that you're doing, everything is kind of reset every time you visit your hitting instructor. And we do some live spray chart stuff. I do like to get on the field and we'll work some different pitches. We'll work some different counts, some different scenarios to where we can say, hey, we got a runner on second and third here. We're going to take this inside fastball, or especially early in the count, because that pitch, we can't do what we're looking to do here. So we're going to, now, not every time would we do that, but in a perfect world, if we're looking to drive something backside, we're not just going to waste reps and waste hits, or attempts, if you will, on an inside pitch or something that's up and in, because I'm not looking for that right now. We're trying to create sort of an experiment, just like you would in classroom. Like, we're looking for this exact solution right here. What do we have to do to get there? So we're going to take that inside pitch. So that gets the brain working like, hey, even though it's a strike, I don't have to swing at it because I can't do what I want to do with it. So I'm waiting for another pitch. So you're able to sort of work your count. Every aggressive hitter can be more patient, and every patient hitter can be more aggressive. And so I'm trying to help these athletes sort of teach themselves what type of hitter they want to be. There's different scenarios. You can look at a leadoff hitter that the approach from the coach could be, hey, let's look at some pitches here. We're trying to establish sort of maybe, get our timing, looking at maybe what pitches she's got or this or that. Or you could have that aggressive leadoff hitter that's swinging at that first pitch, and it could work both ways. It just depends on the situation and the scenario. But if you're in a game and it's tied and it's late and you got a runner on second and third and you got nobody out, you're looking for that pitch to do damage. So a pitch that I would be looking at, something out and over that I can drive behind the runner. If I got a runner on first base, 2 outs here, and I'm down in the count, or maybe I've got 2 strikes. I mean, you got to be a little bit more aggressive so that your hit box is what I call it with the athletes, is your hit box is a little bit bigger, and you're looking to do damage. You're not looking to be too specific here. You can't be too cute because you don't know what the umpire is going to call. So I work scenario stuff with the girls because I want them to feel that too. And going back to sort of that live spray chart, if, say we're working the inner half and we're working up and down on the inner half, we're trying to get them to get comfortable with pulling the ball into the gap, not necessarily wrapping it down the line, but trying to get comfortable with finding a barrel sort of on the inner half, and what my body has to do, what my timing has to do. How quick is my front foot getting down? How far out in front of the plate am I looking to make contact? Am I able to stride into it? How deep is my load? That kind of stuff. And then we hit something that may be down the middle, but in the lower quadrant of the strike zone. Am I trying to drive this back up the middle? Am I trying to get this ball on the ground? That kind of stuff. And then we're also trying to help the athletes, maybe it's up in the zone. We're just looking to push something into the outfield, trying to get it deep enough to score that runner on third. situation can be we're already up by 3. It's late in the game. We've got an out. Maybe there's no outs. We got a runner on third. I'm looking to lift this ball to the outfield, and might be a fly ball pitcher. Could be down in the count, whatever the scenario is. Can you drive one deep enough, even if it doesn't find the grass? Can you drive one deep enough to where we can score this run? And we'll do some scenario-based stuff too. Maybe helping on timing, maybe fake bunt, getting into that situation to where you never know when you're going to have to bunt, or it could be a sort of a fake bunt, hit and run. It could be a fake bunt just to get the defense to move, or up there and you're sort of calling your own number, and you just want to see the defense move. Maybe you're that lead off of that second hitter in the game, and you're just going to show bunt for a second to see sort of their defensive rotation, and you're still going to put the ball in play somewhere else. You're opening up. Maybe the coach says, hey, we need to fake bunt a couple of times here. I just need to see what the defense is going to do, see what their rotation is with a runner on second or a runner on first or with nobody out. Who's covering where, who's doing what? What's their communication? They see bunt. What am I hearing the coach saying? What am I hearing the defense say? So I know I can kind of set something up in the future for that. So being able to show your bunt and be able to get it back and still be on time. Some girls use it for timing. I've done that with one of my middle daughters. Just, hey, we're way ahead on everything. Let's slow everything down. Maybe we go a fake bunt just so we're out front and we slow everything down. It kind of slows our mind down just a little bit, and we can go with that. So fake bunt is a timing thing. I do work bunting with athletes. I don't think enough athletes know how to bunt. I think 80% of athletes, if you told them to bunt or whatever, they would look at you crazy, especially power hitters. They don't think they'll ever have to bunt. But, man, you watch the college game. Anybody can bunt. Everybody's got to be able to bunt. You don't necessarily have to beat it out. You've just got to put the ball in play to move a runner. Essentially, that's what a bunt is good for majority of the girls. Now, there are some speed demons out there that do bunt for base hits, but for the most part, for most of you guys, you're going to have those daughters that aren't a speed demon. But if a well-placed bunt creates a little bit of havoc, maybe we get a wild throw, maybe we advance some runners, whatever. We have that situation in our back pocket that we could use if we need to. So work on your bunting, and you can do bunt drills on the tee. And I love this bunt drill, and I'll give you guys one. So you're going to set a tee up sort of up a little bit higher than what you normally would look for, like a strike zone. So we're looking probably a little bit above the waist. So I want the athlete to kind of get down into their bunt stance, and I want the barrel to be in front of the ball towards their bow net. And then what I want them to do is to be able to pick that bunt back up and take it away high instead of going down. If they go down and they stay level, they're going to hit that ball off the tee. But if they have that the barrel in front of the ball and the ball is a little bit up, then it forces them to take that path that's more direct to their swing, more direct into their load. So fake your bunt right in front, pull it back, get into your load and stride forward, get into your launch and hit it. So get those athletes comfortable with getting into that bunt. You don't even have to throw pitches to the bunt, but that's a fun drill for those girls. And it's a cool drill for them to see that visual. This is where I'm trying to bunt at. They can look and see the ball versus looking at their barrel. So they're looking at it like, this is the stance I need to get into. They can get in, they can sort of repeat that. They can get into that muscle memory. This is where I've got to get to if I am bunting. But this time I'm actually going to pull back. So I want to pull back high so I don't bump the ball off and I sort of waste that drill or waste that movement. They want to pull that bunt back high. You don't want to pull it back low. The catcher's eyes are not at their shin guards or at their shoulders. The catcher's eyes are up. So we're looking to maybe have a little bit of distraction. That's why we do the fake bunt steal, that kind of stuff. We're blinding the catcher. I'm not one of those that teaches that wave the bat sort of in the catcher's eyes. I mean, I think that's silly. I think some sanctions have actually have a rule against that where you can't shake the bat. But I think most of them do not. But I'm not one of those that does that because you become in and out of position like rapidly. So just get there. Don't show bunt early every time. Don't be late on your bunt. That kind of stuff. But it is something that we do teach. We teach a lot of different drills of how to stay back, how to get to your launch. And it's all about confidence. At the end of the day, I don't care who you are. If you're full of confidence going in that batter's box, there's a better chance you're going to put a ball in play. And if you get up there and, man, You've had a bad grade. Your daddy's yelling at you because you struck out your last at bat, and you got all this stuff going on, and you're just not in the right mindset. You don't have any confidence. You're probably not going to be successful up there. You got to get your mind and your body right to be successful up there. It's just how it is. So for me, being a hitting coach or a swing coach has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. Being able to influence these hitters in a positive way, and they may or may not learn a whole heck of a lot from me, depending on who they are and where they come from. But it could be something that we're just there, something that they do for fun, something that they enjoy, and it kind of just builds their confidence. And I'm constantly having conversations with them about different things, and sort of just being a mentor for them. And I've got a lot of athletes that you help throughout the years and stuff. And for me, it's not about them winning championships or winning games and this and that. It's about that longevity with them to the point where, I get wedding invitations and that kind of stuff, or graduation invitations, because I feel a connection with every girl that's either hitting with me now or has hit with me in the past. And would, for whatever reason, we're not working together anymore. Maybe they moved away, or maybe they stopped the sport, or whatever. For me, it's about the relationships, about the bonds. And I have close relationships with a lot of the parents that I work with. And you got Coach Earl down around the Somerville area. Never met him. Would love to meet Coach Earl. We have a social media friendship, relationship, whatever, doing great things down there. I see his athletes. He posts his videos and stuff. His athletes, putting in work. He does the catching side and he does hitting. And it's just cool to see someone that's like that doing the same thing. I know there's a lot of people that think that there's, this competition between hitting coaches or pitching coaches and this and that. And at the end of the day, we're all in it for the same reason. So I know the people that maybe aren't involved in the relationship or involved in the friendship or whatever think that there's probably some beef between, Coach A and Coach B, but it's really not. We're teaching the kids the same stuff to be successful in something that they enjoy. We're not teaching them this way is wrong and that way is right, and don't listen to him or don't listen to her. It's really not that. I share stuff all the time on my page from other coaches and whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like if we were both doctors and we can be friends, because you're a foot doctor, I'm a hand doctor. We're both doctors, we're friends. Like, you're not a better doctor because you're a foot doctor, and I'm not a better doctor because I'm a hand doctor or something like that. It's just, this is what we do. It's like, it's not, anything different than like Burger King or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's. Like, we're all restaurants. It just depends on, what you like more, what you get more out of, or what you feel a connection with. So as far as the beef and stuff between coaches, man, there's no real beef. You do have these guys that have either played the game at a high level on the baseball side, or you got the girls that played the game at a high level on the softball side. That sometimes you'll run into them where they don't think that you know what you're talking about until you have a conversation with them. And of course, me being a male softball coach and instructor, I'm sure there's people out there that are like, hey man, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that I don't know what I'm talking about. But never forget or never think that there's not a whole lot of studying that goes on. I watch swinging the bat all the time. I watch different things. If something is going on and I have a hitter that's doing something and I've tried the drills that I know, I'm out there researching. Why is this happening? What could it be? What drills kind of address this? And I spend a lot of time on social media, and a lot of time in on YouTube, or a lot of time reading, trying to figure out what's the best way to approach something. So it's not an exact science, because every swing is different. Every load is different. Every body type is different. Every mind is different. So you've got to be able to connect with people. You got to be able to talk to people, and just understand it. Like, every day is not going to be a good batting lesson. Every day is not going to be a good session. Right? You don't know what's going on in that kid's head. And remember, you're dealing with 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds. one of them could have woke up late for school and they just been in a bad mood all day. One of them could have had a bad test grade, or one of them could have got, inducted into some honor society, and they're just that today's lesson is just amazing because they're in such a great mood. So, and dealing with young athletes, whether they're male or female, you got to go with the flow. And sometimes you'll have to talk a lot to them to keep them up. Sometimes you don't have to say anything to them. I do have a lot of athletes that, man, when that 45 minutes, an hour, that time goes by quick. They're just like, wow, lesson's already done. And then you got some that the entire lesson, they're waiting for it to be over. And those are the ones that I usually don't work with too often. I only want to work with the athletes that want to be worked with. The parents, there's a few that's, over the last few years that, the parent is bringing the kid to you, because it's the thing to do. Like, you got to have a hitting coach, you got to have a pitching coach, you got to have a strength and conditioning coach. And I get it. But if I can sense, or if I feel, or if I find out that the only reason they're here is because of the mom or the daddy, those are the ones I usually don't make time for, or those are the ones that I don't usually, schedule. I schedule the ones that are consistent. I schedule the ones that the kid wants to be there. And, over time you learn that. And, I've got a core group that I've been working with for a few years now, that for them, it's their happy place. You know what I mean? And I like being that Coach Tyler that, I like the high fives and I like the smiles. And I've told you guys before, man, that's why I do it. It's just making that kid feel good, because they're out there doing something they love. And there's so much negativity when it comes to youth sports anymore. Us parents have taken away some of that joy. But when I was little, I'm almost 40. When I was little, like, we didn't have hitting instructors and pitching instructors, stuff like that. You learned out there in the yard. You went out there and you played, pickup ball with your friends. And whatever season, was on TV, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, whatever the sport was that was on TV, that's the sport you went outside and played with your friends on. And if you were in between, you rode bikes. Or if it was summertime, you went swimming, or you sprayed each other with a water hose and this and that. You're not out there paying, thousands of dollars a month for hitting instructors. And, kudos to the ones that are out there doing that. I mean, I appreciate you. If there wasn't a market for hitting instructors and pitching instructors, we wouldn't be doing it. But for the ones that don't know, man, I used to do this for free. And I realized that I couldn't continue doing what I was doing unless I started charging folks for my time. And there's a good buddy of mine that is the one that kind of convinced me. It's like, man, you got to stop doing it for free. They're not going to take you serious. They're not going to think that you're legit if you're just doing this for free. And, that's when I started thinking about the value. I would do it for free, but I bet you I wouldn't have as many clients, because people feel that, like, there's no value in something that's free. And, whatever your standpoint is on that, it is what it is. So if you charge folks, they feel like they need it. So a lot of people put value on cost. But I do these podcasts and I don't make hardly any money doing that. But I do it because I want to reach people. I put content out on YouTube. I have 2 separate channels on YouTube, and it's just to put it out there. And if I could do it for free and be able to continue the lifestyle that I have, having a family, raising kids, stuff like that, if I could do it for free, I would in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, that's just, I don't have it like that. So, but anyway, just a little bit of a story about who I am and where I come from on the lessons and the background and stuff. And I guess a lot of you guys by now know I was also in the Marine Corps back when I first graduated high school, back from 2002, 2012. So I had that lifestyle and had that. Never in a million years while I was on patrol in Afghanistan and Iraq did I think that years later I would be sitting at a computer most of the time, studying the game of softball, creating content, and also hitting with young athletes. So it's crazy how the life changes and the world changes and stuff. And, the kids, they got into the game. And then I think I'm more obsessed with the game than they are now because they're young and, they're bouncing off the walls with different things. But for me, definitely didn't. If you'd have told me 20 years ago when I was, 19, 20 years old that this is what you'd be doing, no, there ain't no way I'd be thinking this is what I'm doing. So at the end of the day, man, if I wasn't doing this, there ain't no telling what I'd be doing. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to jump out of here. I hope you guys enjoy your Saturday. And if you're catching this riding down the road, be safe. It's going to be wet out there today. If you know somebody that likes to listen to podcasts and wants to listen to dumb old me talk about softball and talk about life, make sure you share it with them. And as always, if you share it with a friend, be sure you tell them you love them.